everyone, welcome back to Simply Vegetarian. This video is not exactly a recipe video but an experiment on my newly bought scraper, and I hope you'll enjoy this festive decor as much as I enjoyed decorating it. So without further ado, let's begin. First, I prepared two simple eggless vanilla 6-inch cakes, sifting all the dry ingredients: 170 grams of Maida or all-purpose flour, baking powder 1 teaspoon, baking soda a little less than half a teaspoon, salt again a little less than 1/4 teaspoon. Mix, sift and keep aside. Then comes the wet ingredients. I have taken here 180 ml of milk. In this I am adding 2 teaspoons of freshly squeezed lemon juice. Give it a stir, keep aside and let that curdle. Another wet ingredient is the sweetened condensed milk, 150 ml. In goes the vanilla essence, 1 teaspoon. Then comes the greasy part, butter and oil. Room temperature butter, 40 grams. Mixed until soft and added again 40 grams plain oil. Mixed until all well combined. In it added condensed milk with vanilla. Mixed and kept aside. Now before preparing the final batter, I preheated my oven at full temperature 230 degrees, and the selector I chose upper and lower rods heating with the fan on for 10 minutes. But I'll change the buttons again while baking. Second important task, keep the cake molds ready, well greased, and place the baking paper intact. Then back to the final batter preparation. This was the wet ingredient. In it I'll add the dry ingredients. Now here I didn't dump them all together. Rather, I mixed in 3 batches. First flour, then milk, and repeated the process 3 times. Then gently combined until lump free. This took me around 3 to 4 minutes. And this was the consistency of my batter. Now I used the scale to divide the batter in 2 6-inch cake tins. Tap them on the counter to remove air bubbles, and they were ready to be baked. I baked them as per my oven at 190 degrees Celsius for 45 minutes straight. Also, you can notice the selector. I have chosen the bake mode without the fan and the timer at 45 degrees Celsius. While the cakes got baked, I prepared a simple American buttercream, for which this is butter 250 grams. I beat for 5 minutes until white, light and fluffy. Sifted the icing sugar 500 grams in 2 batches. Then, as I used unsalted butter, I added a pinch of salt to balance the sweetness. Having blended the butter and icing, the consistency was quite thick, so I had to add around 2 tablespoons of thick whipping cream instead of milk and half tablespoon of vanilla essence. So within 10 minutes my buttercream icing was ready. The consistency was smooth and pipable. After 45 minutes, the cakes were well baked and out of the oven. But as you can see here, the top layers are slightly cracked. This was due to overheating. While I preheated the oven, I had kept the temperature at 230 degrees Celsius. But while baking, I kept at 190 degrees Celsius. So I realized that I should have kept at 190 degrees Celsius while preheating as well. But nevertheless, it was well baked, and the top layers, I'll slice them before icing the cakes. Then, having cooled down completely, I kept them in the fridge overnight. Next day, I sliced them into 4 equal layers using a cake leveler. Now is the fun time to assemble and decorate. Placing a small blob of icing on the cake stand, which will act as a glue to the first layer, and pressing gently but firmly so that the cake doesn't move while crumb coating. Next, simple sugar syrup sprinkled generously between each layer of icing. This will help keep the cake moist. I found this technique of filling the buttercream between each layer is the easiest because the icing is evenly distributed. The second layer goes on top with the same process. This, the third layer. And then the fourth and the final layer. As for the crumb coat, I roughly piped the buttercream all around to the top. removing excess icing. Having smoothened out the top layer, I kept this cake in the fridge for around 20 to 30 minutes to firm up a bit. After 30 minutes, the cake set firmly out of the fridge and perfect for the second thick layer of icing. Then lightly scraped and smoothened out the sides. Then I used the comb-like scraper for that striped look. These kind of scrapers are easily available online, and I used this for the first time without any practice to design this cake. But yes, I do recommend to practice at least once. Having done with the first white stripes, I let this sit in the fridge for 30 minutes and then I worked with the red stripes. Covered the top with red icing as well, and then started decorating with Christmas trees. Once again, for about 15 to 20 minutes I kept inside the fridge to set properly before the final decoration. I even gave some extra touch to this cake with this border. And these pearls gave a shiny look to my festive cake. So this was the cake design I tried to replicate in one go, and this my final product with a slight modification. Comparatively, the stripes were not so perfect, but look-wise not so bad either. And the taste was simply delicious with a soft texture. So, how do you like my decorative festive cake perfect for Christmas? Thank you for watching this video and happy holidays.